Okay, hey guys, it's Rich. I'm sorry this took a little while, but I wanted to make this little video deal here for you. That might be easier for you to go over to figure out this exercise, and hopefully you'll have enough time today to work on it. But I just sort of go over with you what I did with the program. You can see I started the program here. I created a new class, called it Lunch Order. The brackets for that class right here, and then within that class, I just have my main routine like we always have, the public static void main brackets for that right in there. And I've also went ahead and imported this java.util.scanner because the exercise we need to get user input 4 times, and in doing so, we're going to need to use this scanner class. So uh, pretty much I always start off with if I know that we're going to use the scanner class and that we need some sort of user input, I go ahead and create my new scanner object right at the beginning. And so we do that by making a new variable called input, and it's going to be of type scanner. And we're going to go ahead and set that equal to a new, scanner, and then this system in right here. Uh-oh. System and that should all get colored. And so yeah, that's the input is our variable. We're going to use this variable anytime we need to get input from the user. This variable is of type scanner, of the scanner class, which we've imported, and our initialization of this variable is we're going to create a new object of type scanner. So the same thing as if this was like int, and this over here said is equal to some number. It's kind of the same thing. And we'll see this again in the program when we make our food objects. We're going to be using the same sort of setup. Um, so we have the scanner all set up, and the program, we're going to have to ask the user, hey, how many hamburgers do you want? How many salads do you want? How many french fries? And how many sodas? And we're going to have to store a value for each one of those inputs into our program. So let's go ahead and make variables to store those inputs. Since we're dealing with whole numbers, because you can only order 1 hamburger or 2 hamburgers, you can't order 1.5 hamburgers. We'll just have them all be ints, and so and I'll make the names of them hamburgers, I should say. And we'll make another one called salads, and we'll make another one called French fries, and we'll make another one called sodas. And so we have our 4 variables. We can use these to get our user input. And we get our user input. Well, I guess I'll go over that later. So let's go ahead and start writing some of this code. Um, where to start? Well, the first line of code is we're going to ask the user how many, or enter the number of hamburgers. I'm just going by the textbook and what the example output code should be. So system out print, I'm going to say enter number of hamburgers, and colon with a space there, and then I'll end the quotation marks and then put my semicolon there. So I have a space between the end and the colon, and if you don't know why I'm doing that already, I guess you'll see when I run the program. Um, so now so we have enter number of hamburgers. Now we want to get the user to input the number. So we call up the variable that we're going to use to store the number of hamburgers, which was just called hamburgers, and we're going to initialize that variable. Hamburgers is now equal to, and we're going to use our input scanner input, and then that has a method in it called nextInt. Oh, nextInt, just like that. And so this is initializing our variable hamburgers to be equal to the scanner class nextInt method, and that method just recalls the next integer entered by the user. So pretty simple. I know you've seen this before. Um, so now we have So now we get our user to input how many hamburgers they have, and then we need to return nutritional information. So now would be a good time to start dealing with making that new class. I'm just going to really quick format my text here. I'll just press the control. There we go. So we want to make the new class. We're going to make the new food class. And where do we put the class is the idea. Now, you would normally think that here is our lunch order class. The bracket starts here, it ends down here. And so you would think you would make your new class down here, and we'll call it food. And we'll go ahead and make brackets for that. But you see that the computer is recognizing this as a class, that you're trying to make a new class here, but it's going to throw up an error. And pretty much the error is because you cannot have a separate class outside of the main sort of class that you're working with in this particular .java file. And it's going to come up with some error. The public type food must be defined in its own file. What that means is that you can have obviously separate classes. Every class doesn't need to be inside of another class, but to do this, you have to make its own .java file and then work with it that way. And the way you would do that is you can go into your file manager here, where I have my original .java file here, this lunchorder.java. I just pick this and go to new, and you can do it this way, a new class, and make a new class and call it food. You can do it that way. But this is such a simple program. I'm going to do it sort of the easier way and keep it all in one .java file. And I can do that by just sort of placing this food class inside of the lunch order class, actually right here. You do not want to place it inside of the main routine. You want to place it after the main routine, but you want to keep it inside of the lunch order class, so inside these brackets. So I'm going to go ahead and take this, I'm going to cut it out of there, I'm going to go ahead and paste it right in there, and bam, our error should go away. So now we do have a new class, well, not a new class written, but we have like the template of a new class, and it's inside of our original lunch order class, which Tom Cron may not like that, but that's the way I'm doing it because it's just a simple, silly little exercise that we're doing. So what does this food class need to have? Well, I'll get to what the food class needs to have. I'm going to stop this video because I don't want it to get too big, and then I'm just going to start up a new video. So I'll cut back right to this in a new video, and we'll get into constructing the food class. So right now we just pretty much have like the sort of standard layout or the sort of template, the building blocks of what the program is going to look like. So watch the next video. Okay.